Alright friends, I got another video here. Looking at these, I really love these neurons here. These are the pyramidal neurons of the CA3, the cornoanumus area of the hippocampal formation. Connects to the dentate gyrus via mossy fibers. And why these are so important to me, really cool looking neurons, is a couple different things that I'm looking at. One, this is where it's through these neurons here, as the impulse or the input is making its way through these neurons into these branches here, these dendrites here. This is where the brain begins the complicated process of memory association and leads to the other process that is called pattern completion. Or in remote viewing terms, you can call that AOL. But this is where that process is taking place. Now, I'm also interested in what is the speed? How fast do the impulses go through these cells? And what I'm finding is that it depends on whether or not or how much myelination is on these neurons. So if they're wrapped and secured, it may have a faster impulse. If there's less myelination, it's not a bad thing, as it could allow for the formation of new branches. That might be what pattern separation, what contributes to pattern separation. But the speed here is, once the input, so here's how I see it. This, in the CA3 region, is what I term the attractor mechanism. In my theory, in neurological terms, they say that in this area is the attractor dynamic. But prior to learning that, I theorized that in the brain is an attractor mechanism that attracts the impulse, the input, in whatever state that it exists in, into these cells. And they begin the process of memory association, pattern completion, pattern separation. But the speed in here is quite slow. Somewhere between 0.5 and 1 meter per second. It's pretty slow. But these are unique cells in the brain in the CA3 area. Whereas in some parts of the brain, the impulse can move through those neurons in the range of, if we're looking at it miles per hour, somewhere like, if we were to equate it, it would be like 200 miles per hour. But here it's quite slow. It's working a very intense process. But let's take a quick look here at an example. Okay, here's a range of time and space here. Main gestalt, there's two main gestalts. We got water, we got man-made. The water gestalt is the one that I tune into. But I want to see the speed factor. Now there's several different factors involved in this process that relate to the speed here. One of them is from the moment I decide I'm going to, a target, quote unquote, is selected, and I commit to do in the session, in my opinion, in my theory, that is when the selector mechanism is stimulated. The selector mechanism selects that range of time and space as soon as I commit to it. Then there's the process of sitting down, paper, setup, and all that. A considerable amount of time, even though it may be just 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half, maybe a minute. But in this realm here, that 1 minute I take to sit down and get ready is a long time ago. That's a long time ago. So that the stimulus, the input, the range of time and space, whatever state it exists in, has already entered into the neurons. That state is already in there being processed, decoded, translated, impulse coming through, making its way into dentate gyrus, making its way into the cerebral peduncle regions, and the novel environment is being experienced. So let's take a look here. Once the ideograph is produced, maybe. That's a maybe. Let's see how much time it goes through before. 25 seconds in already. That adds on, the clock is ticking, so to speak. Some level of dimensional sensation is presenting itself. So that range of time and space, that stimulus here, the input, is making its way through. But the amount of time that it takes to go through there and begin to formulate a dimensional sensation, the stereognosis, and a memory association. Possibly water. Okay, so I'm at 47 seconds in. So the water element, I'd say, is probably about here. Right after the second ideograph right here, right there. I'd say probably at about the 42-second mark is when that input, that range of time and space made it through, made it through these pyramidal neurons in the CA3 and associated with something, with a memory, associative memory of water. Still, that's a long time ago. That's a long time ago. And it's possibly water. So as it moved through, there's pattern complete taking place. There's probably some branching off here. Other things are going on. 98100. It's very slow. Okay, now I'm getting the dimensional sensation here of the water. I'm 1 minute and 40 seconds and I'm waves. Waves feel kind of heavy to me. There's water here. A primary gestalt is water. There's a current here. It's flowing. Water is flowing into something or crashing onto something. Here I got a good dimensional sensation happening. Here, the stereognosis is taking place. Complete water slide. Okay. Do a few more. I like to fill up the page as much as possible. More waves. The confidence level here is at 65%. Okay. Okay. So here with this is 6 minutes 46 seconds. At the end of this, I am a confidence level of 65% that when I get my feedback, there will be a major gestalt of water. That water is an important factor in whatever this range of time and space is, and that's true. Didn't get the building and the bridge and the whole deal, but that's for later on. The main gestalt that made it through here is the flowing water element right here. So I can say, okay, that is true. That's a long time. It's a long time. That's a very long time. The impulse moving through these pyramidal neurons in the CA3 is about 1 meter per second. It's different in this part of the brain. It's slow. It's slow. Pretty slow. It's the speed of which, what I'm interested in, is the speed of which the input from what I theorize as the selector mechanism and what I theorize as the attractor mechanism, and the speed at which once the selector mechanism is engaged, I am committed to the remote viewing, and the range of time and space is selected. It's already moved through. It's already moved through. It's already moved through. But here, the system that I'm developing, it is to utilize the proprioceptors, ideographs, to create the dimensional sensation of what's taking place at that range of time and space. That takes time. That just takes time and energy and effort. Remote viewing, the process for remote viewing is very slow and uses a lot of energy. It is what it is. I'm not saying it's bad, but I am moving towards the notion of something different. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Best is yet to come.